This is Jonathan Agger, Fifth Pro Boxing Fans, joined by Adam Booth. We are here in Newcastle ahead of Josh Kelly's return this Friday night. Adam, Josh is back in the ring. It's always exciting when he's back in the ring. What are you expecting from Friday's fight?
I'm expecting him to perform how we talked about. We've worked on a lot of stuff over the last few months, and I'm looking forward to him getting it off on this fella.
Now, the opponent, I guess, to fans isn't too well known, but as we've seen over the last few weeks, people talking about this fight, that fight, it sometimes backfires, as we saw in the Caleb Plant fight. Is that kind of what you're seeing here, where you don't want to overlook someone that, even though he's not a name, he can probably still fight?
No, I don't overlook anyone, and just because people in boxing don't know doesn't mean that people in boxing don't. Fans, should I say, don't know. Flavius Biea is determined and he's coming to win, and just that alone means you've got to mind your P's and Q's and do your job. Don't assume victory, never assume victory. And but Josh isn't that type of fella. He's never going to step into a ring on fight night and be complacent.
Back in the northeast for Josh, he's boxed all around the world at big stadiums, big fights, but do you see a difference when Josh boxes sort of back home? I know this isn't quite home, but still, you know, with his home fans, does Josh have more motivation?
I wouldn't say he has more motivation. No, he has his motivation. His motivation is career long. It doesn't just come to one fight or one city. It's nice to be here. It's near his hometown. His friends come, and and we love it here. But ultimately, this is part of his career and just something he's got to do and perform.
I appreciate I'm contradicting myself a bit by saying not looking ahead, but obviously fans will be saying what is next for Josh, providing he comes through. What can you tell us? What's the path? Are you looking towards the world title? What's the plan?
People should ask that question after Friday night. Like, why he's got a fight in front of him. Watch that, enjoy it, enjoy the performance, watch what he's going to do, and then we'll talk about what the plans are after.
Fair enough. Talk to us about his last fight against Ishmael Davis at Wembley Stadium. Your reflections on, Ish has proven himself as a game guy. He gave it his all. Just your reflections on the fight.
It was a tricky night's work because for different reasons he was as good as Liam Smith, but for different reasons. Josh trained all those weeks for one style, and then once training had all been completed 6 days before the fight, that wasn't the style he was going to be fighting. He was going to be fighting a fella with longer arms, a different balance, different rhythm, who boxes southpaw and orthodox. And so, like on a sixpence, we got to change. Just like Ishmael Davis only had short notice to fight Josh Kelly, so it was tricky for the pair of them, and I think that showed out. But I thought Josh won it comfortably. I thought the scorecards were horribly wrong, but he got the win, and we move on.
Obviously, you've got a thriving stable. Talk to us a bit about what's going on in the gym. You've got David Adellay. What's next for him?
Well, we're waiting. We think it's going to be a certain fight, but we're just waiting for the rubber stamp. So I'm not going to say anything until it gets confirmed to me.
And tell us who else you're working with.
Just
those two at the moment. Okay. Adam, I saw your interview / podcast you did with Simon Jordan. Interesting watch on the whole Usyk Dubois debate and things like that. What's your assessment of the fight and how Dubois can overturn what happened in the first fight?
Dubois can overturn what happened in the first fight by doing what he's done in his last three fights. It's the progression in his last three fights that will give him the best chance to get the victory against Usyk that he didn't get first time round. He is a different fighter. He's going to be carrying much more confidence off the wins that he's got, of the wins that he's just had recently, the 3 wins, and the rounds that he's got as well. Usyk is Usyk, he is what he is, and I don't think he's going to be any different to what he was before. So it's going to be interesting because it's going to be Dubois that brings something, or potentially brings something different to this rematch.
We've seen news that Manny Pacquiao is back in the ring. 4 years ago was his last fight, and he didn't look anywhere near his best. 4 years later, he's back in the ring in a world title fight. Are you expecting any improvement from Pacquiao 4 years later?
No, there can't possibly be an improvement. But Manny Pacquiao is an all-time great, and whatever he chooses to do, if he gets back in the ring again, he might be well past his prime, but it's still Manny Pacquiao. So just enjoy him.
But would you back Barrios to win the fight?
If I'm honest, I haven't looked at Barrios at all, so I can't make a judgment on that fight.
Talking about legends coming back, Chris Eubank Sr came out and said that if his son gets back in the ring, he'll get back in an exhibition. I don't know if it's tongue-in-cheek, if he's serious. You're looking at me like you haven't even heard those comments, but do you assume that that's just sort of tongue-in-cheek?
No idea. I don't. What you've just said is the first time I've heard anything like that, so I don't know.
Well, he said he'd come back in an exhibition if his son fights again. So he's basically saying that Chris, he'd like him to call it a day. Would you like to see Chris Eubank Jr call it a day? Do you want to see a rematch with Ben?
I mean, I'm ambivalent. I don't really have an opinion either way. The first fight was a very entertaining event. For a variety of reasons that satisfied for me, that scratched the itch of the interest in the fight. We'll just see. My focus now is on the careers that I'm involved in. I enjoyed that fight, I enjoyed that fight night, and I enjoyed that event. It was the event and the way that the boys fought in the ring that made it a great night, but we'll see.
Just on Adellay, I spoke to him after Dave Allen's win, and I said, is that a potential fight you'd look at? And he said, look, I think Dave needs to sort of get a few wins and then get up to the level that he's at right now. Would you welcome that fight with Dave Allen at some point?
One thing I've learned is you can never say never in this sport. I remember after David Hay had won the World Cruiserweight title against Mormek, we were chatting to a fella that I think he'd just won the London ABAs, and turned out that he ended up fighting him in 2012 because it was Derek Chisora. So I've learned never say never. You never know no one knows what the future holds, and this sport can throw up all manner of things, so anything's possible.
Just lastly, Adam, talking about heavyweights, Moses Atama's getting a lot of attention right now. There's people saying that he can win the undisputed title in 4 fights. Is the hype justified? Is it as big as people are saying?
Well, up until now, the hype's justified, certainly, because he's doing everything he's supposed to do. If you're considered to be, an exciting world-class prospect that is the potential future of the division, he is dealing with everything that they're putting in front of him the way that you would want that type of prospect to do so. So he deserves all the accolades, but it's a long journey. There's a lot of tests in front of him still, in terms of not being able to hurt certain fighters landing back on him that carry power, having to go the rounds, having to be tested. But he's still got that ahead of him, but all the ingredients appear to be in him, and he's a joy to watch. I like him.
Adam, appreciate your time. Channel 5 this Friday to see Josh Kelly's return. Any final words on Josh? I mean, he's one of the most talented fighters that this country's produced, over the last decade or so. The best is yet to come, in your opinion? Yeah,
and talent isn't enough. That's one thing I've always known. Talent isn't enough, and I think you're going to see this next phase of Josh's career. It's not just about the talent, it's about the determination as well.
Adam, thanks very much.
Thank you.